So you've written your own book and you don't want to pay for an editor. How do you edit your own work and avoid all the mistakes that will irritate all of your readers? Let's talk about that a little bit. Hi, my name's Todd Phillips. I've been a technical writer for well over 2 decades, and there are some tricks that I've picked up along the way that I think could really help you when working on your own stuff to publish, or maybe helping someone else that you're close to that's asked you to proofread their first novel, and you really want to give them some value. So let's talk first about some things that we all need to agree on as writers and editors. You know, a lot of cultures around the world and a lot of belief systems tell us that our perceptions shape reality. What we think affects what we see, taste, hear, and so on. Words are thoughts that are captured to be shared with other people. So it's not just how I look good on the paper. What you're really doing with your words is shaping your reality and then sharing it with someone else. Words are important. When we start shaping our words in a way that people commonly accept for mistakes, we are now sharing mistakes in the way we perceive the world. Your feelings are up to you on that. Once you have decided what words shape the feelings, the sights and sounds that you want to convey, now you need to look for things that will detract from that. Your job as an editor is to keep that flow of information moving smoothly between the author's intent and the reader's experience. You want to be as transparent as possible. So how do you edit your own work? So if we agree that our thoughts determine our reality, our words describe the thoughts and save them so they can be shared with other people, now we need to write those thoughts in a way that are clear. So our choice of wording is important. But what's also important is that we do not interrupt the flow of information between the author and the reader. The reader is always the king. The audience is king. That's what we always say as writers. We care about the audience's experience with our writing. When you are a writer and you're trying to edit your own work, let's assume that it's possible that you've made a mistake. Maybe it's a mistake that you make fairly commonly when you're writing. How are you going to find that mistake when you're reading? We have to trick our brain. There are some little techniques that we can use to edit our own work that will use a different portion of the brain than what we were using when we wrote it. That's one of the key things I'm trying to pass on to you right now. If I'm reading back the material that I just wrote, I'm still using the same portion of the brain that I used when I wrote it. I'm probably going to miss the mistakes. I might find them, I might not. So what can I do to trick my brain into working for me instead of against me? First and foremost, read it out loud. What? You expect me to read it out loud, but I'll be embarrassed. Tough. Get over it. What we're doing with writing is we are capturing a spoken language. So read it out loud. You will hear the punctuation. You'll hear when it's missing. You'll hear the words that don't flow the way they should. You'll also hear the extra words. Maybe you'll find the words that are missing. Read it out loud because that's the way the reader is going to perceive it. That uses a different portion of your brain than you used when you wrote it. You're more likely to hear the mistakes in your own voice if you're reading it out loud. That's a huge tip. Another one that we like to use in tech writing sometimes when we're really under a crunch, you can't just stand up and walk away from your desk for a half hour or an hour, then come back later with fresher eyes and read the material again. Read it backwards. That's a fun little trick, actually. See if you can literally read word by word backwards through a paragraph at a time. You're more likely to find mistakes that way. Read it upside down. Yeah. Hand it to someone else and let them read it. All of these are tricks that you can use to get your brain out of the same function that it had when you wrote the material. That will let you see the mistakes more easily. Lastly, don't trust your word editor on your computer to find the correct grammar or the correct punctuation. They're helpful, but they're not perfect. None of them. And also, they're not going to show you a word that is misspelled if it's the wrong form of the word. There, and there are all three very different words, but if you substitute the wrong form, your word editor isn't going to tell you that it's spelled wrong. That takes some experience. So it is possible to edit your own work, both fiction and nonfiction. Think about what I'm sharing with you today. You're shaping the words, you're shaping the view of the reader for what they're going to perceive. Maybe you're changing their reality so they see what you see. Maybe not. Maybe you're just giving them a short vacation from their own views. Maybe you're conveying some kind of vital piece of technical information, like how do I actually set the time on my computer now that I got this new... Anyway, I'm showing my age. Hope this helps you out. Please tune in again for helpful tips on technical writing or writing in general and other life tips as they come along. Thanks again for checking in. I'll talk to you next time.